Hi, this is Surinder from Tech Education. Now I am going to discuss introduction to Apache Kafka. So in this I'll explain the fundamental things about a Kafka. That is what is Kafka, what is Zookeeper, what is Kafka topic, what is a Kafka partition, what is the storage time of the Kafka topic, and where Kafka can be used. And finally I will discuss how to set up the Kafka server. So there are things I will going to discuss now. Now, what is Kafka? The Kafka is a messaging platform to send the data from one microservice to the other microservice. So here, the microservice which is sending the data is called a producer. The producer sends data to Kafka, where the consumer receives data from the Kafka. So here, you can just see the right side diagram. This Kafka cluster, there are more than one Kafka servers are there to send the data in parallel. Of course, send the multiple data or multiple messages can be sent through the Kafka cluster, and this can be managed with a Zookeeper. And coming to this alternate to the Kafka, there are RabbitMQ, which is a most popular, and then ActiveMQ, Red Hat AMQ, Amazon SQS. So like this, so many technologies are there. And message systems are two models, that is two types. One is point to point, second one is the publish subscribe model. The point to point means it's like a similar to the queue, and one it connected to one, and when data will reach it to the consumer, then the data will be removed from that topic or removed from this queue. But whereas in the publish subscribe model, it is useful for a multiple consumers. Suppose you want to send the data to the multiple consumers, then we need to put the data into the Kafka topic that need to publish first, so that that can be subscribed with the different consumers. So publish subscribe model is better for the when we want to send the data to the multiple consumers. So here Kafka is comes under the publish subscribe model, and whereas the RabbitMQ is both point to point and a publish subscribe model. So this is about a fundamental things what is Kafka. Now coming to the what is Zookeeper. So Zookeeper is a distributed open source coordination system to synchronize multiple Kafka brokers. So already discussed, the Kafka cluster is there to send the multiple data transfers. For a multiple data transfer for a multiple messages with a parallel sending operations, we need multiple brokers, the Kafka brokers. So for organizing and coordinating all these things, we need a Zookeeper. And coming to the next topic, what is Kafka topic and what is Kafka partition? The Kafka is communicating using topic actually. The topic means here, topic is a channel name. So where producers are publishing the data, where consumers are reading the data. So a topic is a storage mechanism for a sequence of events. And you see here in the Kafka broker, there are different topics will be there. So there is a topic X and topic Y. And one more thing is the topic contain different partitions. So here partitions are very useful for sending the data for parallelly. Just see, topic contain different partitions which allows us to split the data across a multiple brokers. Just see the another diagram. Same the topic X partition 0 in the Kafka broker 1. Same topic X partition 1 in the Kafka broker 2. That means we can send the data the parallelly using two brokers, so that we can send the data parallelly. Of course, that sometimes some different different combinations will be possible with a if you use the multiple brokers and the multiple partitions. So this is about a Kafka topic and Kafka partition. And coming to the story time of the Kafka topic, we already discussed it's a publish subscribe model. So that means we are sending the data to the multiple microservices or multiple consumers. If you want to receive by different consumers, topic should store the data for some time, right? So that is storage time. So default storage time of the Kafka topic is 160 hours, that is about a week. Of course, we can set up the storage time in the server.property file, which is in the config folder. So this is about a story time of the Kafka topic. Where Kafka can be used? Of course, Kafka is used for the message transfer or object transfer. So we can send the data transfer. And but here my point is whether it's a asynchronous mode or synchronous mode. We can just see there is a previously it is a REST template. REST template is used where immediate operations required. That means that is a synchronous operations. That means this transfer blocks the other transfers. Whereas Kafka was the asynchronous transfers. So Kafka it is used for better operations like a multiple operations we can work with parallel. So here asynchronous means it not blocks the other transfers. Just a developer has to decide for that particular method whether you have to work with a REST template or whether you have to work with a Kafka template. So that has to be decided by the developer. And here see the example, you can understand much more. In a microservice, in the service class there are two methods, the search method and the update method. And the search method is generally it required immediate operation, right? So in our immediate step we have to work. So for that we have to send the data to the other microservice. So we have to immediate operation required. For that we have to use a REST template, that is a sync operation. But whereas update method means no need to get data immediately, but there has to be work in the background, or we have to work with the parallel applications we can do, right? So updation means not required immediate data. So immediate supply is not required. So for that situation we can go for the Kafka. So here see the update method which is sent to another microservice that is provided with a asynchronous operation. This is the way in the particular method we have to require immediate, or we can take some time or not. So if we require some time, then we can go for Kafka. Otherwise, if you want immediate output or immediate getting the data, then we go for the REST template. That's what the Kafka used. Then next we have to discuss how to set up the Kafka server. Of course, we can call it an installation. There are different steps. The step 1, first download the Kafka. So the kafka.apache.org, in that downloads you have to download the latest version of Kafka as zip file, and that zip file you have to extract it and place in any drive, let us say in the C drive. And then step 2, create a 2 empty folders in a extracted folders, like that you have to name it yourself. Then step 3, update the path for the folder for my Zookeeper underscore data in the zookeeper.properties file in the config folder. The step 4, update the path for the folder Kafka underscore logs, which is in the server.property file, which is in the config folder. Then uncomment the following lines. The 2 lines are there actually. The 2 lines we have to uncomment, which is in the same server.property file. Then fifth step is set up the path environment variables, path /bin/windows. These diagrams are related to the following steps to server setup. So created 2 folders, and here set up the path in the zookeeper.property file, and set up the path in the server.property file, and uncommented these 2 lines. This is the way we can set up the Kafka server. To sum up, concluding this lecture, we understood about Kafka and idea on Zookeeper, and we'll get to understand about the Kafka topic and Kafka partition, and we are able to set up the Kafka server. This lecture to understand about a introduction to Kafka.